recording. All right, Collin. So welcome. So applying for the Future Builders Academy. So
Yeah.
yeah, you can hear me. Oh,
Yep.
my headphones. My headphones. Okay. So first of all, thank you for taking the time to do this and get excited about this. Excited to talk to you. So tell me more about. So we're pretty much making some minor changes to the program. With the main change since we talked regarding the Future Builder Enterprise Formation track. So the way the description is online right now, it's about a 1 to 4 year program, which is immersion, and you learn to run crews in 4 years. So we thought about that and got feedback, and people are the the traction on that is not high. Very few people are willing to get into an extended time program like that. So we're offering another route to it, and I want to just lead with that since I want to see
Sure.
how you want to, if that's also interesting to you. But we're saying, okay, people, we've got optimization of build procedure. We're creating a 6 month program where you start your own business in 6 months. So that means that it's boot camp immersion. You learn the entire house, and then OSC can buy the modules, basically the whole house kit from you. So that's going to be another track where we're going to implement that. As far as the regular path, we're talking about um, still the civilization design track, but structure it more like 3 month sessions, where each 3 month section has specific deliverables. We work on open source product development of a lot of different things. Plus, there's the more of the theory, the learning how to learn and learning how to be a human track, and getting diversified skill sets. So yeah, yeah, that's the thing. So I'm hearing that you're interested more in the long-term thing. Obviously, there's also financial sustainability issues regarding work and stuff like that. But tell me, from what you heard so far, like how would you see I like kind of actually putting you on a spot to define the reality? Because right now we still have the chance to define how a lot of the details work.
I
So
see.
so I'd like to ask you, what would be the ideal program based on the fact, okay, yeah, we can go with a civilization design track, which generally has the idea that, oh yeah, you can start your own business, or OSC can hire you at very competitive pay because you've got extreme design build skill sets. Now, philosophically speaking, if we're about financial independence, part of the thinking for us is we don't want to put more employees. We want to create more entrepreneurs that go out into the world to solve real problems. Now, that's also a very collaborative route, because people are free to stay or go as they choose without forming the kind of typical dependencies that standard employment has. So thinking about this, that's one thing that was bothering me. It's like, okay, if we want to scale this, are we going to become a huge employer of tons of people? And just principles wise, that's not the ideal thing that we'd like to promote.
Mhm.
So that's also part of the reason this kind of shifting is happening.
I see.
While we will have staff, I mean, there's going to be some staff, obviously, but as far as the main production, the ability to build homes and to cross subsidize the rest of the movement, the big transformation we're talking about, that's going to take a lot of people. And we want to set it up in a structure that's most consistent with our goals of freedom and creating a better world for everybody, not creating more dependence. So that's
I
kind
see.
of further background on it. So
Yeah.
tell me more. What's interesting to you? What's compelling to you?
Well, when I first looked at it, I first understood there to be three tracks: the
Mm-hmm.
builder, the
Yep.
civilization, and the enterprise.
Yep.
And I mean, to stick with the enterprise question, it looked a little bit daunting. Like I saw, I think a figure of like 5 million or something, and so I suppose I'd really have to get in there and learn the skills first before I could I mean, I could imagine myself doing something like that if I had learned the skills and was on board fully. I'd love to do something like that. I'd love to run teams and build the whole thing out myself. But it just seemed kind of daunting. I've
Yeah.
never really
Yeah.
worked on a crew like this before, so I sort of just like left it aside. I didn't dig into it very much. Um, but for me personally, between the builder and the civilization, I certainly don't want to be just stuck with like just building, just real skills. Like I'd really like to be in the classroom, learning and meeting other people, and possibly doing something in the future. I really like your idea, all your ideas, your whole philosophy and everything. So I'd love to be involved. That's sort of why I was leaning more towards the civilization thing. And I see. Are you? I'm curious. Are you moving on to the second cohort now, or
No, no,
what was that
no.
looking?
The point is that nobody's biting on the full package. We
The
were,
full 4 years?
yeah, yeah, exactly. So one person from the last cohort, Eduardo, you might have seen some of the videos. He's in a enterprise track where he's got an existing business and he's working with me to optimize that business. So for example,
I
right
see.
now we're working on an open source freeze drying machine to
Okay.
because he's got 1,000 acres of of production. A lot of his fruit goes to waste. So he's staying on. That's working great. But beyond that, no, people haven't signed up. That's it. It's
Is it?
we actually
Is
had a,
it?
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
No one even signed up for the builder or the civilization?
Nope. Nope.
Really?
Even with the viral video, we've had.
Yeah, I
I
saw the
mean, we're.
video.
I mean, we've got a few applicants right. There's several people right now that are in the process. The first cohort last September. Nah,
With
sorry.
nobody? Wow.
Well, there was two people that started. One pretty much wasn't a fit, and so Eduardo is the only one staying in the program right now as a remote person.
I see.
But right now, we're basically gearing up. May 1, we're going to get the full cohort of 24. Now, having simplified this, okay, this is the civilization design thing is that's 3 months.
Okay.
Tons of, we got a lot of feedback. A lot of people want to sign up for that. Not 3 months that you want to do 3 months and quit, but say you do, and then obviously it's okay. Obviously, we want people to continue to the big thing. So right now we're saying, okay, much simpler. 3 months, you can do it, and then the 6 months for the people who are really interested in financial independence is the primary goal. Starting a business, 6 months, which otherwise would take you 10 years typically in the industry. So
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
it's a radical proposition, and that means we're setting the bar high. We're saying, okay, if you're going to be serious about it and you're going to put the work into it, this is the current reality, and we back that up by the build data we have so far. But also part of that program is to get in all the data and metrics, basically mastering the entire build process through that where you go through several builds, like at least 3 full builds during those 6 months. As a cohort of 24, and therefore you gain a full skill set of learning time compression because you're working modular, meaning knowledge embedded systems. I call it expertise embedded systems. The modules have the logic. They've been designed. There's years of design in that, right? So you're coming in. You're in an open source route, economic time binding. We're saying, okay, we're sharing all of this. We're teaching. And we can guarantee that we buy your homes or kits, you collaborate with OSE as a partner in 6 months, only 6 months. So literally 6 months boot camp. At that point, okay, starting a business, incorporate, start operations. Whether it's
Interesting.
at, and now you say, okay, 6 months, how am I gonna get me a facility up and running? Well, the easy route is the first thing is we can lease facility space to you at that time. So while you can go ahead, but you'd need $100,000, $250,000 to start up with all the equipment and stuff. So, or space or facility, plant. So, okay, easy interim. How do you solve that capitalization issue? We've got space here. We can accommodate a number of producers, right, with what we have already. So that's the idea. So
Okay.
we're saying, okay, this is a real thing, and here's a low, basically, capitalization assistance for anybody who wants to do this with us directly. You know, you can use our site, or you can start your own. If you already got a facility, you got land or workshops or whatever, or a farm, and you want to do it there, you can. Okay, so that's good. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. So the civilization, it was only 3 months
Right, 3 month segments.
segments. Okay,
Three
and it
month
would still be for the
segments.
full 4 years.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. That's the goal. So the way we were looking at it, okay, some people in the enterprise track, they might work with us, but some of them we hope, I mean, what we probably think is, well, some of them are just going to do their own thing. Why collaborate with us if they can make more money working on their own,
Yeah.
if they take more responsibility, of course, because we provide certain things such as collaborative development, where the incentive to stay is, okay, now we're putting OSE now puts that money into further development. So now open source skid steers, open source power tool construction sets that lower the cost of the enterprise. So the logic there is, oh, well, contribute and stay in the ecosystem so that the whole system goes to zero marginal cost, and we move on to the next segment of value generation, whatever that may be. So that's kind of like, so we're talking now about the hardcore enterprise aspects of how this actually rolls out. Because I mean, the bottom line is that the design here is it's a scalable model that we can train. Our goal right now is like, I would like to see like up to 50 people in a, probably more like 24 people in the enterprise track, 24 in the civilization design track. So like my goal right now is 50 people for May 1, which means we've got some work to do, but we've got some things working for us. Like we can get the publicity out. We're going to publish the announcement finally, like the final offerings in about a week or two. So this is not even out yet. We're kind of discussing this
Sure.
as it's being made. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like it. It's very unique. I like what you're doing. But yeah, for me, the only thing about the enterprise thing is like, if I were going to want to do that, I want to scale with the program. Like I'm very moldable. I'm young. I have a lot of skills already, but I need a lot. There's a lot of things I'd have to learn before doing that. So if I was going to be interested in the enterprise, I'd really have to come in, learn the skills, meet more people, see like what kind of enterprise would I run. So I wouldn't even have an idea for an enterprise right now. So.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly why we're doing it. It's like the 3 months is supposed to be onboarding. This is your trial. Like, do you like it? Do you like the things? And I'm sure that once people see this, a lot of people are going to stick around. Of course, there's going to be like more people. Okay, if it's summer 3 months, yes, some more people will stay for that just as an experience, but we really want people to continue with that. Yeah, so that's the idea. But yeah, at that point you get exposed to what the work looks like, but with the broader training, you're not like, okay, I'm not in boot camp for 6 months to actually get production data and start a business. I'm here learning more generalized skill sets. So it's kind of definitely clearly two distinct tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't get a lot more interest. I suppose most people are, caught up in their own things nowadays.
Well, I mean, I was blown away by that, to tell you honestly. It's like, and I still don't get it because the value proposition is so insane. It's basically you get to do meaningful work. There's a means to actually fund it because you can do work study and etc. And it's like, I think part of it is that it's just unbelievable. It's like, well, we don't have a track record of doing this, so it's like all that. But I think a lot of that is also the execution, like the devil's in the details. Like this, I mean, the feedback was just, no way am I going to, nobody wants to commit for that kind of a time. And maybe we were saying it wrong. We were calling it kind of like a school. Actually, like looking into it, it's, I mean, it's not really, it's like a school and definitely you learn, but I think a lot of people are just turned off by that word, like because I was definitely positioning, it's like, I'm starting a school, right, to change the world. But it seems actually that that's not the most flavorful thing to a lot of young people right now, because it's like they don't want to associate the crazy work with school. So it's I think part of it is the messaging too. But all in all, I was blown away. It's like, okay, now give me the floods, and it's like crickets.
Yeah.
So it was an amazing journey over the last few months. Yeah.
Yeah, I would just say, to me, it seemed like by what I was saying, by people caught up in their own thing, like when on the question in the written application was like, do you have debt? Or in the video question, do you have debt? I think most people are, caught up in their own thing. They're already out of school. They think about this and they're probably like, well, I'd love to do this, but I'm already doing this other thing. Like I asked my friend, do you want to go, when I thought it was just the 2-week program. I asked my buddy down the street, he's similar age to me, similar everything. Do you want to go and do this thing? He's like, yeah, sure. And I told him when it was, probably going to be in April or May. And he was going to be like, well, I have school. I can't really do that. So I think people aren't able to see down this road. And it's true for anything in life. People are already caught up on whatever they're doing. They can't really see some kind of grand opportunity. They just pass it up for whatever reason. It's almost the opposite of look at all the small things in life. Enjoy the small things in life. People say that. And people become too much like that. They can't see some big grand thing down the road, which is totally doable. But either they don't think it is, or they're too caught up in the small thing.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely something non-standard, and now we're trying to figure out how to actually sell it. It's like I thought it was an easy sell, but it's not. It's
Me
completely
too. I
not.
was sold.
I mean, right. But it's like that means, I mean, so you're unique. I mean, you're definitely unique in your perspective. I mean, there's just not so many people that, I mean, while everybody complains about the system, sees issues, like nobody sees a way out or is seeing their own agency in terms of how that could actually happen. You
Yeah,
know,
it's strange.
it is. It is. It is. I mean, it blew me away. So yeah. So with that said, what do we do? um, regarding the regarding the application process, I would still so we can definitely go with um, so you got the written applications, the interview time. The big part of it is getting both the hands-on skills and the so-called theoretical, or like the more like the moral intelligence aspects, collaboration and why of everything. But with that said, can you still do the module build test? Are you able to do that?
Oh, of course. I'm fairly confident I can do it very well. I already have my garage. It's all set up, laid out,
Mm-hmm.
built right there.
Yeah, it's awesome. How much? Repeat to me. How much experience do you have, like just building? Really, you mentioned about redoing the
With
garage with
wood,
tool. Yeah.
uh, well, I took everything apart and I wanted to put in these racks. So they're basically just four 2x4s, and then I make sort of like a level thing, like I don't know how to describe it. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
it's it's sort of like one of your panels with it's not OSB, but it's thicker plywood with four 2x4s around it, and then they're put into the pillars of the. So I made two of those, and then I made a workstation. I mean, I could walk out there and show you it if you want. So I would just say basic. I have a drill and impact gun. I understand how the things go together. My
Mm-hmm.
weak point would probably be the quality control,
Mm-hmm.
but I would just for the particular assignment, I would lay everything out neatly and
Mm-hmm.
really try to stick to the quality.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you done any stuff? I mean, are you an avid user of AI these days?
Well, my main trade throughout my life is programming. So yes, I am very familiar with AI. I've used it a lot since the very beginning, but it's not something I'm super fond of, but I'm very familiar.
Yeah. Because these days, I mean, what I've been doing is basically getting AI to design things, modules in FreeCAD. It's actually pretty much
Yeah.
amazing because now you can convert text into real design that you don't have to actually go step by step. You just program FreeCAD to do it. I'm just saying that's an amazing possibility that comes about. So a lot of it will be doing things like we're gonna break the house down into full automation in terms of how do you get the because start with the problem statement. The problem statement is for every single build, it takes about 1,000 hours to document it properly manually. Just this is what we've been doing for CD Go Home 4, 5, 6, 7, now 8. If we're actually going to do all the documentation properly, it's going to be hundreds of hours, and it's just not the time we have. Like if once we're in production, it's like we just don't have that kind of time, so we want to automate it. But part of the work would be that now we're breaking down the entire process into there's all the different modules. We create automated generators for them within FreeCAD. We also teach people how to do that because then you want to make modifications and then you want to get all the documentation out of that FreeCAD file. So on one side, it's okay. Here's where we're building the modules, and then another house designer module within FreeCAD where we're actually assembling the whole house, so that any novice can actually build their own completely technically correct design in a matter of days, like that. So
Wow.
that's our goal. Does that sound interesting to you? That kind of work to actually get that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, what particular part of the work? Like, I'm very interested in not only the hands-on, like literally building the house, but sure, automation or advancement of the technology is
Yeah,
interesting as well.
yeah. That's part of it. So part of it will be
How,
doing
how
things
many
like that. Hmm.
how many hours total is the house build? Because you said a couple hundred for the documentation. What is the total
Are you talking about documentation or for actual build?
for the whole actual build? How many man hours?
1,000.
1,000, and a large part of
It's
that is
about
the
a.
documentation.
Well, no. We're not including any documentation. That
Okay.
documentation is like, let's say you have the documentation. then it comes down to about an hour per square foot. So if it's a 720 square foot house, we should be taking 720 hours to go from, including the groundbreaking, grading, and all of that machine work, to a finished, ready to move in house. 720 hours.
I see.
That's the industry standard, and that's how much we do in our work. And we're actually, I mean, we're documenting this because I'm actually not clear about it. I mean, this is, I can only do research on what the industry standard is, but the industry standard is around the 1 hour per square foot for a real house, right? And we're seeing exactly that kind of figure in our work, which means like, well, isn't our work supposed to be way more efficient? Well, yeah. So the thing that comes to us, for us, we're trying to prove that, well, yeah, but novices couldn't do that time. That's why actually, for the next May build, we're going to get some serious data collection to actually try to validate that. That's going to be one of the values we get out of that, the May build. Because the program's going to start with basically a 10-day, now we're looking at a 10-day crash course where you go through, one is the skills, but two is the actual full build, like more the swarm style in 5 days. And we count the hours, we get very rigorous about that, we're well prepared, and we document that, okay, we have just demonstrated that novices using this expertise embedded modular system can perform as well as professionals in the field, which is I think a limit, therefore escaping from, oh, this is now expertise by specialized people, now to something that anyone can do. That's the general message we're trying to say for just about anything in civilization can work like that. So that's a kind of big picture.
That's very large accomplishment to get a bunch of people together and just build something like that.
Yeah, that's the goal. That's the kind of level we're working at. So on one side, okay, so there's design of things, but so the first 3 months of the design thing, the way it's we're looking at making it look like, so it'll focus on the 3D printing aspect and reducing costs of the, so kind of trying to get very focused on what that produces. Cordless tool power cordless tool construction set that's 3D printed, as well as 3D printing of parts as well as modules for the house. So like things like plastic lumber or decking, whatever, electrical boxes, trim and stuff like that. So there's a lot of things that we can do, and we were looking at that be kind of like the focus of the design part. We're learning all the design skills and applying it to cost reduction in a real house. So does that sound interesting to you?
Oh yeah, of course. Did you say? I'm curious. You said 3D printing of the tools, like power tools.
Absolutely. So
wow, how does that? How does that work?
Well, so 3D prints get you all the cordless drill, the geometry, the battery case. Now inside of that, you've got all these specialized components. Here's the actual little battery cells. Here's a chuck. Here's a switch for turning it on and on. Here's the motor. So those things, by modular design, you break apart the system, say, okay, this is actually made of these things, and those things are sourceable, so we learn how to source them, how to, therefore, when we design it from scratch, first by breaking down the drill into its components, and then open sourcing the actual supply chain and parts that go into it, and then eventually actually printing the things like even the motors themselves. It's like if you go on YouTube, there's plenty of examples where people are 3D printing motors and winding their own copper around that, because of 3D printing now allows you to get these advanced geometries for near free. So yeah, it's absolutely that. We buy some parts off the shelf, we 3D print and design, and therefore you've got the big deal is called lifetime design. Because if you know how it goes together, you know where the parts came from, then you just made a major step in humanity. Because like we go through so many tools, if something breaks, we pretty much throw it out, because I mean, we don't have the time, or like there's specialized parts that you don't know where the parts came from, so it's impossible. It's literally impossible to fix it, and they're designed not to be fixed. They're designed in ways that are not easy to do that. So we're addressing that. So in the program itself, the first 3 months, we're talking about 3D prints, both on materials and the tools that start. So things like cordless drill, cordless saw. Absolutely. So that means we're going to get into some of the metal in there. At first, we're going to source these things completely off the shelf, But then in the next 3 months, so starting August 1, it's going to be getting into the more of the other types of fabrication. So CNC machine, like for milling, as well as CNC torch table. And with that, now we're getting into metal. So we're getting into metal, we're getting into building some of those parts and building things like the skid steer with automation, like RTK, GPS kind of stuff, where we're talking about remote control and automated guidance for simplifying this whole build process. Because basically it's like we're open sourcing stuff to make this drive the costs down, move on to bigger issues in society. That's kind of
That's very exciting. That's very interesting.
yeah. So that's the kind of thing. And throughout it, it's like you got to have a purpose. Why you're doing this? Well, we're trying to make life easier for everybody. So that's where the moral intelligence part comes. That's where collaboration comes from, and the processes for product development in general. Like, how do you do that? Well, there's a whole civilization. Whole civilization has been built on this level of civilization grade engineering, where people have developed from stone tools to microchips and so forth. So we basically open source that entire process.
Wow, very cool.
Yeah. So that's that. And I mean, the idea for 4 years in the program. So I mean, what would be your ideal outcome? Like, what would you see yourself? So say you got through this 4 years. I mean, what would you be doing? So I mean, there's definitely the build part, which I do see. I mean, that's pretty intimidating. I mean, to actually start running crews and a serious enterprise, yeah, that's a big deal. That's significant skill set, and you can gain it over the time. But I mean, what would you see yourself doing? How would you do you know that yet? Or part of it is trying to discover exactly what.
Yeah, a big part of this for me. I'm like a blank slate. I'm very young. I want to come in here and learn as many things as possible and kind of see where it goes from there. But original goal of mine forever was to just build my own house. So this is kind of like a grand extension of that. And I can see it going any way. I can see myself, working for you or starting my own thing. Anything like that is interesting.
And the part that is interesting to you, it's not just like theoretically building houses. Yeah, you do definitely like the hands-on part, and you want to expand that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the perfect thing. And then you've got the computer background too that allows you to handle the information aspect of that.
Yes.
Because actually the bigger part of this is information. Like, once we get the designs, they can go viral in terms of the spread, pending open collaborative infrastructures. So the idea here is we're building facilities, what we call, I don't know if you read on the wiki, like universal basic productive resources kind of a thing, where now the infrastructures that are required to build these things become more public, open, and accessible. So say the hangar that we're building here. Yeah, well, yeah, you can rent it, and you can, if you get trained in all the skills, you can use those kinds of productive assets to do things for yourself. You don't have to depend on other people. So if you have advanced production capacity, oh yeah, you just come in and build yourself your cordless drill if you like, or whatever. There's different ways. You can do it for yourself, you can buy a turnkey or whatever. But universal productive resources, basic productive resources, everyone should have access to that. So it's not experts, but it's public access, so that one of the things is that cost of living is still just increasing with better and better technology. That should not be like that. That's a failure. That's a systems failure, and we're trying to address that. It's like, let's open this stuff up, and through integrated design, where you learn not just you got just design of some artifact. It's the whole ecosystem of that and how it fits into a better world and all that. So that's kind of that. Without saying anything more, do you have? Tell me about some of the questions you might have.
Well, I think we already went over a few of them. I was looking to clarify the timing and if this was your second cohort or your first. Let me think. Well, first I'm curious, you're from Poland?
Yeah, I was born in Poland. I came in 1982 when tanks were rolling down my streets. That was in behind the Iron Curtain.
When what was rolling?
Back in yes, tanks. So we were a puppet state of Russia. So back then we had communism, and like life was pretty gray. Like there was no free enterprise there. Everything was state run. But basically there were in 1982 martial law was declared because there were like some strikes happening, and that's where kind of like kicked off the whole collapse of the Berlin Wall and the Iron Curtain. But that was that time when literally like they sent tanks. I saw tanks rolling down our street because they declared martial law, and people would wait in line for food. Like things were scarce. You know, so
Yeah.
so it was that was the reality there. It's like a really crappy economic system
Yeah.
where 50% of our wealth was going to Russia.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy when you look into history and you see how all of the failures of society we've had, like how bad things have gone, and when things do go well, how short they last, like how much like manpower went into starting them, those civilizations that were working, and then it just collapsed anyways. It's like
Yeah,
so.
like say the Roman Empire.
Well, yeah, it sort of had like its up and down in all various different portions, like good emperors, bad
Oh,
emperors. It's very interesting to me.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, what's a point, an example of that to you in your mind?
Um, the ebb and flow of how there were good emperors and bad emperors. There were,
Hmm.
emperors like Basil II. He detested usury and central banking. He really ran his system very well. And Julius Caesar, another good example. He goes and conquers Gaul and then comes home. And really, the grand achievement of Caesar was he sees all these problems with his society. It's like totally ruined. He gets back to Rome. It's in shambles, and he found a way to fix it. Fix it.
Hmm.
He
Hmm.
changed the whole banking system. There was no more interest. He just removed all of the
Mm.
state debt, and
Mm.
he basically made middlemen illegal. You couldn't be a middleman. You couldn't upcharge the price of a commodity, and
Oh wow.
he forced aristocrats to employ their capital.
Hmm.
And that last one was the thing that pushed it over the edge. So all the aristocrats, like his brother Brutus, came and killed him. And then you see some other emperors
Oh wow.
who were usurpers and were just totally destroying the empire. So the Roman Empire is just like this big story. It's not like one example to me.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean that's the theme that the meta context of that is, well, I look at it from the standpoint that there's knowledge in society, there's skill, expertise, but it just doesn't propagate to the whole population. It's kind of like locked up in certain places. And that's the thing where, I mean, that's close to what we're working on. We're saying, well, I mean, and all the productive knowledge right now is proprietary. We're trying to open source it. So it's the same story. It's that the practice of how to do things well just doesn't propagate. It's always concentrated, and that's alive right now, and it's a real existential threat. Like, if we don't get our act together, I mean, wow, like right now there's a lot of dangerous situation
Yep.
happening. Like right now, it's amazing. Like we don't spread that wisdom to the whole population, and
Yeah.
that's a big question of how we actually educate people, bring people up to to a higher level of refinement than just to things that cause collapse. You know?
Sure.
Yeah. So that is a fascinating aspect, and we are working on it. It's literally on our side. It's like how do we solve the Fermi paradox? You know that thing?
Yes. The
Yeah, it's
filter.
like civilization. There's no other civilization in the universe. Why not? Either we can't see it or they wipe themselves out. People think they wipe themselves out because at a certain point you just can't keep up with the complexity and you collapse.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's a big question.
The proprietary is awful. Like, and sometimes you even learn when proprietary does do something good, it's immediately like wiped away. Like for example, the Volvo. Like, have you ever heard of the red block Volvo engines that would go for 1,000,000 miles?
Oh, I haven't. Tell me more. Actually.
Well, made out of Swedish steel or out of Swedish iron, and they, like for example, they had all these different changes to the engine that they made. One of them was instead of a timing belt or a timing chain, they used timing gears that
Uh
wouldn't
huh.
wear. I forget what they were made out of, but they weren't wearing down as fast. And they would test these engines, and they would test them over spec. They would read them. They would run them at like over red line for 20,000 miles or kilometers or whatever. And they just wound up making this super engine that would go for literally 1,000,000 miles. There's one in I forget. I think it's like a Volvo P something. It has 3 million miles on the original engine. So it's funny to see
Holy cow!
what's possible, and then we look today, and even the new Hondas and Toyotas, they go for 60,000 miles and then have a problem, and they're in the shop for months and months.
What, okay, okay. I got what is this engine? I want to look that up right now because I haven't heard
I
about
believe
this.
it's called the Volvo Red Block engine.
Let me see that. I should know this because I haven't actually heard about this. So, um, so if the thing was so immortal, I mean, what do you think? What happened there? I'll study that later. But I mean,
Well, they have to get rid of it because they don't make any money. They make the majority of their money off of repairs on the engine. So no way are they going to give you a vehicle that's going to last for your lifetime. They're not going to give you that. That's not a profit for them.
So, so is that? I've never have not heard about this. Is this like well known, studied, like case studies have been? Oh, this is just lifetime design for obsolescence at its purest form.
Well, I would say the automotive industry as a whole is a great example of societal decline because I think vehicle companies kind of represent their country a lot. They're a good representation, but and all of them are in decline. But of this specific example, I don't know. I just knew the example. I don't know what really happened to it or why they stopped it. I think they just evolved out of it. They started doing different things.
Yeah.
But I do think it is they don't want to give you something that's going to run forever. That would be a total failure to them.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, the first thing that comes up when I Google the Volvo red block engine is the immortal brick.
Yep, there it is.
No, I mean, I totally get it, and I'll add this to my repertoire of. I mean, I completely get that. I mean, yes, that's just a manifestation of design for obsolescence. That's exactly what we're trying to fix. So right there, you have 10x the value. So think about it, right? Like, can we imagine a society where your cost of living is at least 10x lower? Because a thing like an engine, instead of say 300,000 miles, which is extreme, lasts 3 million? Absolutely. So thanks for pointing that out. That's I gotta look into. I want to study that one a little more because then, okay, well, why don't we just build it and open source that? Okay, focused effort, a few $1,000,000 of development, and there you go.
I'm sure you could do it. You might get in trouble though.
Mm-hmm.
Ford isn't going to like that.
Right, and and if open, you can't let the cat out of the box. So that's saying exactly that. It's like we're saying we need to train people in the methods of open development to show first to people that look, all this stuff in society, it's completely negotiable. There's infinite possibility there. Here's some of the tools that can get us there, and that's the mindset we're trying to teach in the whole program. So you transition from wherever you are to absolute abundance and being an active agent, spreading that across the world. So yes, I am surprised why nobody signed up.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's absolute insanity. Yep.
Your question was, what are my questions? And I'm on a huge blank. So
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, maybe. Okay. Well, I think. I would say let's keep in touch and definitely do the last part of the exercise. And yes, you will be pending success on that. You will be invited to a session for the so-called on-site interview as we work together. How's your schedule look like? Are you able to make it out here at some point?
Yeah. So fortunately for you, I don't really have any commitments at all. I don't go to school. I don't. I'm not even employed at the moment. So I'm pretty open. I have savings, so I am able to go out there. I would probably, as far as getting the panel to you, my primary form of transportation is motorcycle. So what I can do is throw the panel into a U-Haul with my motorcycle and drive it to you and drop it off there with you, and then I have my vehicle. So it would be probably pretty easy. It's not a big deal to me. Or
the other route is also, I mean, we can. If that's a block, we can also consider remote documentation if we have a good setup for that. So both are possible. We can discuss that later, but first let's get that thing built and documented as in a procedure. Yeah.
What do you mean remote documentation?
As in, like, if I can, why do I want to see it? Because I want to inspect certain things on it. But if you can actually show me all of that through remote, that would also work. But I still, so in other words, if you come here for on-site collaboration work, you don't have to lug that, which is going to be expensive. So I'm just saying that.
U-Haul is only like.
Yeah.
Well, it's Missouri. It's probably $800.
Yeah. It's that. Exactly. So yeah, I mean, right now, let's keep in touch. Let me know if you have any more questions. But yeah, I mean, love to have you, complete the application. And it sounds like you're a good candidate, definitely. And you taught me. I mean, you taught me about the red block. That's cool.
Did you build the house you're in right here?
Yeah, this one. So this is the one that if you go on the wiki, it's called Citica Home 1. That's the one where we had 50 people and 5 days for the build. We didn't finish the
Wow.
interior, but we did all the shell, including the photovoltaics. So, yeah, it was. I mean, when that happened, I was like, wow, this is amazing. So yeah, this is the first. That was back in 2016. Yep.
Hmm.
hmm
How many have you done total? Did you say
Well,
seven or?
right now we're on the Citica Home 7. That was the last one that was built in the last workshop. So the Citica Home 4 is the one that's got absolutely exhaustive documentation, like 30,000 pictures, like 1,000 pages of build docs, full CAD for just about everything, um, and all of that. And now we're at the next stage, because that took thousands of hours to actually do, in terms of document and build. Now we're saying, okay, we're gonna do new models in a matter of days or hours, with automated generation. Yeah, I mean the AI part for that is absolutely astounding, and part of that is that's what we're gonna teach. It's like, okay, how do you collaborate? Well, part of that collaboration is how do you collaborate with AI, because it's you got to learn how to do that.
It's particularly strong at those almost bureaucracy tasks. Like,
Yeah.
here's 4,000 pictures. Please put them into groups. Right.
Right.
Probably
Yeah,
that.
absolutely that. And then you have to think about, well, how do you break down the whole process so that sorry, my thing is getting
All
blurred
good.
here. Um, how do you break down the build process, or even like instructional process, that you can guide AI to help you at a deep way? Yeah. So I mean, that skill is like breakdown, like work breakdown, modular breakdown. How do you do that? So that's a big
Sure.
deal.
I'm curious what I'm curious how many people you have on site in total, and like what the demographic is. Or how young would I be in comparison to the average person on the team?
No, we don't have anybody right now. We're seasonal. So
Okay.
last build we had 50 people here in December, but that's the thing, they all go away. So right now there's nobody on site. But in April, that's the time where we're saying, okay, now it's going to be 25 to 50 people full time forever, because we've got a Civilization 100 experiment happening. So I didn't tell you that. So go on the wiki, look at Civilization 100. But part of this is we're doing a veritable, honest experiment to say, okay, if we train people up and start, what are the limits to how a group of people can come together to form what looks like a civilization? So you got your housing, you got your production, you got your governance, you've got. We're starting the school, the program, the academy. Pretty much, this is a civilization startup experiment. Now, as far as your age, yeah, I mean, so I'm 53. The expected audience is going to be young. It's like probably, I mean, in the last workshop, the age group was from 17 to about 70. So it spans all. But we'd expect mostly like 20s, 30s, probably the main kind of age group as far as participants, because it's one side it's young people, and two is the career mid-career shifters, right? So you get
Yeah.
some people who are okay, now I'm looking for some meaning because I've been in an office cubicle too long, so that kind of setting. So um, that's kind of that.
You're really saying you got no full time team behind you?
No,
That's crazy, dude. You got to get a team.
exactly.
You got to get yourself a team, man. You're gonna
No, no,
once you
no.
get a team,
That's
you're gonna everything's gonna explode. You're gonna be
no.
crazy.
It's we've had much experience with things exploding. So the next step right now is so basically we're going forward. So basically recruiting several people. So that's going to once again come up as the as the program announcement goes up. We're hiring, so we've got to get uh, people in the management of the construction. There's the site. There's the education program, and yeah, we're getting all that in place. So yeah. It's basically we're at this inflection point where, okay, now we've developed the economics, now we can actually hire people. That's kind of how it works. And absolutely noticing that, yeah, I'm absolutely overwhelmed with this, and therefore we need to create transition from the individual to an organization. We did have actually we did hire 3 staff, just for reference how this stuff works. I mean, back in 2013, we hired 3 people, operations manager, workshop lead, and community manager, and that completely blew apart because so we had some foundation funding, that money disappeared, everyone's fired. We didn't have a revenue model. Like that's the thing. The whole time, one of the big learnings is get to the self-sustaining financial means as soon as possible. So we've done that. I mean, that's been a very long, deliberate process of, okay, here's the financial feedback loops that get this thing going, and from there we can play. So that's where we're at right now. And
Well, if you can build houses, there's your economic model. You can just sell houses really quickly. If you can build a house in 5 days with a team.
absolutely, and that's exactly where we are. It's the most absolutely exciting time, and I cannot do that. It needs a team because I can build a house or two, or a few houses a year, but that doesn't do anything. We need to. What we're doing right now is, as you're seeing, is the program where we're producing people now to take this to scale. So that's where we're at.
I'm curious why you picked Missouri.
Well, it happened to be that. So I went to grad school in Wisconsin, University of Wisconsin-Madison, and it happened that there's some collaborators in the nonprofit sector that someone's father had land down here. So we we leased their land for a year and then got our own. So that's how we ended up in Missouri.
I see.
Happened, some collaborators were down here, but it's the land is good, weather is good, and cheap land, and it also happens that the particular site here, like there is no building codes here actually.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's what you want.
that's part of that. It actually helps, but the homes we build, they're in cities typically, so you got to go through building departments and all that. But the advantage here is, like, when we want to prototype something, we don't have to ask for any permission. That's quite convenient because we can prototype things very rapidly that way.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I'm curious. I did formulate a question.
Mm-hmm.
So, say we found full 24-person cohort, and I'm a part of it. I'm just curious again, what specifically are we going to be doing? You said the first 3 months are, more like skills, and then the next 3 months is sort of getting into design of the 3D printed products. I'm just curious, like, what else would be involved?
Well, I mean, it's learning integrated design, learning how to design and build anything. So there's how do you design things. So you're talking about, there's CAD, there's design, like various product design, the product design process, documentation. There's everything that under the sun that goes into what it takes to productize. Like if we're gonna do the cordless drill, so we're saying, okay, here's mechanical design. So there's calculations, there's engineering, there's basic design concepts, there's physical process of how you actually convert designs into actual builds with tools and in a workshop, and also the part of learning how to learn and learning how to be a human. Those things have specific curriculum. So starting with, here's the history of civilization engineering, from how we came from sticks to modern technology and all the major events that happened through the industrial system. Like, how do we get to this idea of lean or Toyota production system or Volvo and all that? What were the options that were in front of us? Like, why is the system the way it is, and how do we transform it? So you have to get to the basis of how the whole technosphere works. So we'll be doing that, but not learning from books, learning by, here's a real problem. We want to design a cordless drill. We want to make this housing less expensive, or we want to replicate enterprise or whatever. So it's more to applied real problems applied, and also through enterprise. Like, we're saying, we're going to solve housing. We're going to make housing affordable. We're going to do all that it takes, including the machines and materials that go into it. So in terms of productivity, the scope is huge. The scope is even through the 4 years, it's about everything, but starting with some very specific things. Okay, here's the whole design process applied to 3D printing, to cordless tool construction sets, and so forth. Is that getting you confused, or is that clarifying things?
No, that's clarifying. I was just interested, like, what other particular items might be learned, and you answered that. So thank you.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a whole, it's, so that curriculum, it's working on it. We'll publish that like with the program announcement, and it's, uh, yeah, well, that'll be much more clear. Um, yep.
I think the only other question I'm going to have is just, I mean, you're still really like building out the whole thing, but I saw it was likely going to be 5 days in and weekends off and then some kind of
Yeah.
volunteer work. The only real thing for me financially would be to make it through the whole 4 years. I probably need some kind of opportunity to make some cash doing whatever. I mean, I think it would be like summer's off, right?
Yeah.
So I could make cash that way. But
Yeah.
I'd like to be on site. If there's a way I could work for you in the summer, I'd be very interested in that.
Absolutely. So, I mean, that whole product ecology, I don't know if we want to get into it, but since you're asking it, you are getting into it. So, the way we're thinking about it is here's the civilization design stuff, which literally produces products that feed into the what we call the future builder enterprise formation track. So the people who are hardcore in 6 months, they start their own business, and we guarantee them 100K per year product buy, so that they can go on their own. But here's an option: they can work with us. We guarantee it. So they're not just like left stranded. They have to start their own business and drown, because that's a big deal. So we can help them up front. But the idea there is, on one side, there's a real product that comes from the civilization designer track. You're not just playing. This is not a hacker space where you mess around, or so-called maker or hobbyist who's messing around with a drill. We're talking about a commercial grade product that has a $50 billion market worldwide. Cordless power tools are that size. So one option is, okay, we're actually developing a full business around that. So do you want to start making drills? Yeah, you could do that. You can start actually building power tools. That maybe not in 3 months, maybe it'll take you longer. But one side is that you're learning real productization. So, and that applies to every single thing. You want to start manufacturing skid steers and change American history? Okay. We're close to, at this point, we're at beta release with some dedicated development, and possibly in 3 months, we have a product that's ready for initial market. Like right now, it's all the stuff that we have besides the house are prototypes. They're not fully released products. So in the program, we're releasing products out into the real world. So on one side, you can say, okay, in this 3 months, and the explicit goal is that you have the capacity to manufacture, for example, cordless drills or cordless saws at a commercial level. We'll buy them from you. We're going to need hundreds of them. We go right now. We probably go. I mean, we've got like in house, we've got like 24 of them, and that's just for like the basic level. But we'll buy them, or we actually sell them out on the open market. But that's the whole thing. We're saying we're developing a unique product. Here's a drill, which is the last drill you'll ever have to buy.
Yeah, and even if you just got 1% of that market, it would be $500 million, right?
Exactly.
So
You said it right.
$500 million.
So the incentive is, you're not here to play. You're here to change civilization by reformulating what the productive system looks like. So on one side, you can do that. Okay, yeah, you can do that as, spend your Saturdays. Oh, okay, I'm just going to start developing this business, but collaboratively, like with all of us, all of that. So on one side, you have that ability for everything that we do. So take the skid steer. Okay, we've gone through that 3-month session, probably built the next iteration near product release prototype at that point, and we're ready to start productizing or developing production engineering. So that's how it works. You're incentivized. Okay, now you can start real enterprise doing this. Or the other way is, okay, so you got enough experience. You're learning how to build homes. You might, once you actually get metriced, once we measure your skill set. So there's like 50 different, in the house itself, there's nominally like 50 different types of modules in big classes. And that I mean, okay, there's like floors, windows, doors, there's heat pumps, there's cabinets, there's electrical, did I say heat pump? Whatever. There's like 50 different categories of big things that you need to learn in order to build this full house at very high revenue. Like we're talking at least 100K a year. As soon as you certify in a rapid learning facility, we get data, you have go through certification that you can do all of that, you can start producing modules for us. But that doesn't happen until you go through that data collection, the training and data collection steps that show me, okay, this is exactly what you can produce, and it's absolutely transparent. So part of this thing is that we're developing open source production know-how that we or the whole world can use. So, okay, long story short, at any time you're welcome to jump into the enterprise track. You can, and we would talk about how that looks like. Are you actually like going completely on your own, or do you stay around and use our facilities, or do this or that? I mean, all the possibilities are there, but the thing is, okay, if you want to do some production, yes, we have productive work that you can do on site. And right now we're trying to see exactly what that would look like. But as one very specific thing you can do is join the Future Builders Enterprise Formation track and act or work with the people there. One person who is starting that business. So there's going to be enterprise opportunity, just earning. We like to encourage you to think about it as you are the entrepreneur, not the employee. So that's kind of like when we design whatever we get into, make sure that we're promoting your ability to do that independently as opposed to making it dependent on us to do it. So we always encourage the entrepreneurial route. Does that kind of answer the revenue generation question?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. So there will be ample opportunities. Now, explicit, and that's part of the thing. Like, a lot of people will want to see that 3 months to see how that whole development process goes. I gotta do my camera here again. Now, so we're lowering the barriers to that, as that's more like the design R&D track, to make it easier, and you pay for that. Now, to get paid, you demonstrate competency, and if you want to get paid, yeah, you can get paid by demonstrated competency. So we're basically kind of like making explicit. Here's the thing where this is kind of a thing where you're setting yourself up for enterprise versus more like for learning. So it's kind of like that distinction between the two kinds of tracks. So the designer track is more that the learning part, whereas the enterprise track is, okay, you're ready for business.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And what about the housing while I'm taking the course?
Oh, you get you to build your own 10 by 12 cabin.
Really? That's cool.
Yep. So that's the current plan. Right now we have the Hab Lab, which is 24 people can fit in there, but that's overcrowded right now, and all of that, it's too tight. So people are going to build their own. So we're devising basically it's like a village construction set thing: cabin, roof sections, stair sections, decks, bathroom, and common area. So all these different modules, typically on a 10 by 12 size, that we stack up to 4 floors using the telehandler. So we make our own little village. It's also reconfigurable. Don't like it? We'll take it down. We'll reconfigure it. It's actually like highly portable 10 by 12 modules that we can build and then actually reconfigure as needed. And it's also part of the education. You get to see, ooh, cool. Now I get to build my own living structure, and we're also productizing that. So the first month includes that. There's 3D printing part. You're gonna be hands-on involved in probably in building your own living structure. That's an option. You can stay in the Hab Lab. You can build your own.
Oh, I'm interested in doing that. That sounds cool.
Yeah.
It all sounds cool to me. I want to do.
It's insane. What's happening here is insane. It's too I could talk for hours, but yeah, but we're trying to. Part of the difficulty is that this thing is. It's hard to communicate because people are like, what is this?
Yeah.
There's too much in a package, so we're trying to dole it out piece by piece. Mm-hmm. And rolling it out.
Yeah, I can see that. My father originally introduced it to me. My father and I are the kind of guys that could fixate on some specific thing for like 6 hours. Mm-hmm. So I think the day we saw it, we just read through the whole thing talking about it.
And where did you find an initial thing? Was that through that viral video on Instagram?
No. My father found you years and years ago. Oh. I forget how he did, but you had always been on my radar. I had always seen your YouTube video, and I was in the middle of Paraguay when I saw the crash course.
You were in the middle of what?
Paraguay. this
Paraguay.
little country
Oh,
in
no kidding.
South America.
Okay.
And I originally I was in Paraguay in October, and I saw the course was in November, and I was like, damn it, I'm not going to make it to the course. So that's why I waited until I got home and got settled.
But how did you find out about the course itself? You just randomly looked at our website?
My father might have found it. My father is very diligent. He must have found it and notified me immediately. So
okay. No, it probably was through all that, because we got that viral video that 25 million views right now. It was insane. So it might be related to that. But if it's not, I'm glad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It must have. I mean, I was just saying. I don't think it was that, because we already known about you.
Yeah.
But I did see the video on your website actually. And that was when I was applying my video application, and I had uploaded the video application to YouTube, and I was showing my mom, and I type in, OSC video of interest, so that mine would show up. And I saw 4 or 5 other videos of recently, and I saw this video with 2 million likes. I was like, oh gosh, probably 1 million people applied to this. But that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
2 million people applied already. Yep.
2 million people.
Yeah. No, it's a thing. So yeah. As I mentioned, I am just overwhelmed at why that happened. That did not happen as I thought. I mean, major shock. But then again, it's like we're refining it. I think a lot of it has to do just with how big and ambiguous that is, and it's just, what do you sink your teeth into? I think it's just too much information for a lot of people to handle. I mean, we're working on it, and we'll get we'll do the marketing, and we'll try to do it right and all that, so we do succeed. But our sites are completely on it. I want to see 50 people in that staying there. So literally what I said, Cilization 100 starts May 1.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, you probably go viral again if you keep making more videos.
Oh,
that should be a part of your plan.
So the guys that helped on that says, do not expect this again.
No? Why not?
That's what they said. Well, so I told them, oh, this is only the beginning. That's the answer. It's only the beginning. No, what we titillated people with was amazing, but I think that's just the beginning, and it's gonna be even bigger next time. Because now, once people see a few people going through this program, once the first person comes out with 6 months, making $100K a year in 6 months, starting their own business, that video is going to be even more, that we're going to go viral again.
Well, there you go. Let's do it.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, and the cool thing is right now we've got somewhat of a good audience on Instagram and the other channels. So it's like now we can probably communicate some things more effectively. So anyway, things are looking great. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay.
Is there any other questions you have for me?
No, that's about it. So thanks, and let's continue with the rest of the application. And you sound like an awesome candidate. I'd love to continue working with you on this. Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for offering the course and doing everything. Let's keep in touch. I can do this. So the next step is the module design. I'll just be waiting for a nice day, and I'll be doing that in my garage.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Exactly. All right. Well, Collin, thanks a lot.
All right. Thank you very much. Nice to meet you.
Great.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.